Morning breath is a bitch, boys. It tastes horrible, but it's even more unfortunate for the sweet young thing laying next to you because it stinks. Well, good news, boys. Everybody's breath stinks in the morning a little bit, but there are varying degrees and severities as to how stinky it actually is. Do you want to get a good idea of actually what your breath smells like? The whole hand test, not that effective. What is effective is getting a big lick of the back of your hand. Let it dry and smell. Oh yeah, that's you, big boy. Well, the good news, there are some things that we can do to make that dragon breath a little less dragon. What causes morning breath, you may ask? Well, as we slumber, our bodily functions slow down. This includes saliva production, and saliva is responsible for adding oxygen to our mouth, also fighting and killing bad breath bacteria. Simply put, a dry mouth is a stinky mouth. Well, the fact is we all get it. Now let's talk about how to actually get rid of it. Alright, first thing you can do to get rid of it in the morning, get up, drink some water. You also should eat breakfast, brush and floss your teeth. Whoa, groundbreaking stuff, right? Alright, now your morning breath is eliminated, but there are some things that you can do the night before to actually limit the stinkiness or severity of the stinkiness of your breath. So I thought we should talk about that. First thing to do the night before, make sure you brush and floss your teeth, alright? Sounds like a no-brainer, but you would be amazed at how many people don't actually brush their teeth before going to bed. You know those nights you go out drinking and you just crash and your breath is like extremely funky the next morning? It's even drier because the alcohol dries. You also didn't brush your teeth and remove all the particles before passing out. So, step number 1 to prevent stinky breath is brush and floss the night before. Step number 2, rinse with an alcohol-free mouthwash. Most mouthwashes that you use or find in the stores have alcohol or contain alcohol in them. You know when you swish it around it starts burning like crazy? That's the alcohol. It's also drying your mouth out more than it needs to. Alcohol-free, it's still going to clean, give you fresh breath, but it's not going to dry your mouth like the alcohol version. Step number 3, gargle with baking soda. Alright, baking soda actually creates an alkaline environment inside your mouth, increasing the ability to fight bacteria, that stinky bacteria. How you do it? Put about a teaspoon in a cup, fill some water. If you have a teaspoon, use that. I'm going to use my toothbrush and gargle. You can also swallow a little bit of it, alright? It's not going to hurt you, it doesn't taste that bad, and what happens is by swallowing it, it's actually coating your entire tongue. Sorry, dozed off. Gentlemen, last but certainly not least, don't sleep with your mouth open if you can help it. Now, I know that when you fall asleep, it's like, yeah, you really can't do anything about that. You're like, I'm asleep. I do crazy stuff when I'm asleep. I've got no control, man. But what you do have control over is keeping your sinus passages as open and clear of mucus and allergens as possible. So before you go to bed, below your nose, if you need to, rinse out with a neti pot or one of those little squirt bottles that I've showed you to make sure that everything is staying nice and open. That is going to increase the likelihood that you're going to breathe through your nose instead of your mouth. When you breathe through your mouth, you get it right, it dries it out, increasing the likelihood of, yes, you're following along, stinky, funky dragon breath. Gentlemen, these are some simple tips that you can use to ensure that your breath is, although stinky, not as stinky as other dudes that don't actually watch these videos. It makes sense, right? Well, I gotta get some sleep, even though it is light out. Alpha likes to nap. Good night. I actually don't nap, but whatever.